Next time I'll get it right, but for now I'll stay right here where I belong.
You have an amazing opportunity, young generation, to rise above and be proud of the choices you're making, and get out of a codependent culture and be responsible for you and work harder in your life than anyone else ever will.
What do you want? What do you want out of your life? Where do you want to go? If no one else will fight, I'll be the one. I'll be the one to step into their world. I'll be the one to walk with them.
And I mean it more than you'll ever know.
Some people will ghost you. Well, then maybe they're not real friends. At some point in time in your life, you are going to have to come face to face with yourself.
Next time I'm getting it right. Will you believe me if I say this is the last time?
And then she points at me and she goes, there's greatness inside of you. Sometimes we need people to believe things for us until we can believe it for ourselves. Because I look at what I'm doing now and it's not lining up with what they said I couldn't do. And now I'm doing everything that people said I couldn't do. Because now I travel the world and I share my story.
Next time I'll get it right, but for now I'll stay right here where I belong.
And by the time I was 26, I was sitting in 30-day inpatient treatment for alcohol. My family wanted nothing to do with me, couldn't hold a job. I was codependent, all because I thought I could get away with it. I should probably have about 10 DUIs. I only have 2. My last one was June 24th, 2010. That was the DUI that changed my life.
For it to hurt more, to stay the same. When I get through this storm, I'll find it on my own. And I'll mean it more than you'll ever know.
And so I'm going to talk about connection and belonging. We're looking for a place to belong where someone can come out and say, hey, we want you here. I want you here. We want you around. We say we live in such a connected world. If that's the case, if we really say we're more connected, then why is everybody more depressed?
There's no dumb kid. There's no worthless kid. There's only kids that have been starved of love and have been wounded so badly they're just looking for a place to lay. We can't change the history, but we can help shape their future.
Next time I'm getting it right.
Take one thing that you want to focus on to overcome in your life. Take one thing at a time and walk through the process. The process is only a process if one stays in it. If you don't stay in the process, then it's no longer a process. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Peer Purpose Podcast. Such a delight to be here with you. I hope you enjoyed last week's episode about working through conflict. Again, my goal is to continue giving you the tools you need to take responsibility for yourselves and your life. You're totally in control of what happens to you, totally in control of the situations and the circumstances that are created in your life. Sure, there's going to be some times where the circumstances will be beyond your control. But if you're in control of yourself, the outside influences won't have that much of an impact on how you operate. We're going to jump right into this. If you remember me about a month ago talking about introspection, and basically what introspection is, it is you are so focused on yourself that you actually can't see beyond you. And I see a lot of introspection today. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about that. And I'm going to wrap that up, wrap it into the word snitch. And I hear that so much amongst the young generation today about, oh, he snitched on me or she snitched on me. And so I want to talk about that, and I want to bring that all around. Again, my goal on this podcast is to give you a clear view, okay? To give you a clear view, a clear lens of how you should be living your life. Does that mean it's going to be the same for everybody? No, that doesn't mean that. But there is a correct way to view things, and there is a correct way to handle situations. And so we're going to jump right into that. This is not for me as far as what I'm about to say here, but it is worth repeating. So your brain, okay, your brain doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's imagined. Matter of fact, in my school, I believe it was last week or this past week, I can't remember, I asked a question. I said, How many of you go throughout your day believing situations or scenarios in your head that you have no clue if they are true or not? And majority of the room raised their hand. And that's what I see a lot of. I see a lot of people walking through a situation where they're believing things about situations, about people, about the circumstances in their lives, and it's actually destroying you. And so I want us to get in a bigger view today. I want us to start looking at what we need to start doing that's going to get us in a place where we can believe the right things about not only ourselves, that's first and foremost, because if we don't believe good things about ourselves, we're not going to believe them about other people, but about other people in our lives, and not even just in our lives, but other people that we interact with on a daily basis, as well as the situations that we encounter on a daily basis. It's going to be super important to understand these things. Okay, I want us to get this today. So we're going to wrap this up. We're going to talk about this. So we need to continue to be, what is the bigger picture? Okay, here's the thing about part of getting out of introspection and looking at the bigger picture is understanding your feelings. Okay, your feelings can actually be a good sign of what might need to be adjusted in your life. Because if you don't know what's right inside of you, you're not going to know when something is wrong. And so feelings shouldn't be your leader. They can actually be your Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer to guide you to say, okay, here's how I'm feeling about a certain situation. Here's how I'm feeling about a certain person in my life, whatever that may be for you. And being able to look at that and say, okay, if I'm not feeling right about it, I have to make adjustments, whether that's going to talk to the person, okay? Whether that's being able to look at what you played a part in, okay? If that's something internally that you tried to set out to accomplish and it didn't go the way you wanted it to go, whatever that may be, okay? I want us to understand this today. We have to start using our feelings as more of a compass instead of a way to react, okay? And so I want us to get this today. I want us to be able to understand this today, okay? We tend to focus more on others people's actions and words than we do tend to focus on what our part to play in it was. And so there was a situation not long ago with someone that I know. It was a friend of mine's kid who's in middle school, witnessed the situation happen and said he knew it was wrong, but he didn't want to snitch. And I actually told him, I said, dude, you would have been doing the right thing. It's not about snitching. And this just comes back to our society and how we operate today. We have learned to pass off responsibility to the next person. We have learned to create situations in our life and create messes in our life and then pass it on to the next person as if they're the ones that did it. And I'm sorry to tell you, that is very weak-minded, victim mindset, and that is very powerless, okay? I'm handing you back responsibility of your life. No one should have ever took that from you in the first place. But since that you may be in that situation, I'm going to hand it back to you. You are now the one that is back in control and back responsible for the things that you think, for the things that you say, and for the things that you do. One of the things you have to understand, a lot of the things that you create in your head, again, going back to that brain science of your brain doesn't know if it's real, if it's imagined, so it's reacting as if it actually happened, even if it didn't. So that's why our reactions to the things that we create in our head can turn out to be very, very damaging. Okay. Again, wanting us to understand this today. It's very important that you get it. Okay. It's very important to get. So I'm handing you back responsibility for your life. Because let me just ask you a question. What's the alternative? What's there to turn back to? Go ahead, I'll wait. But what do you have to go back to? If you've come this far on a journey, you might as well keep going to push through because there is nothing to turn back to. You should already know the alternative. It just takes a little bit more inside of you to say, I need to figure out these things. I'm not good at processing my emotions, so I need to get good at that. I'm not good at being able to handle conflict. I need to get good at that. I'm not good at building up my own self-esteem. I need to get good at that. Okay? I promise you, there is no one else that is responsible for doing the things that need to be done for your life more than you. Okay? I want us to get this today. We have to understand. So when it comes to that, when it comes to the snitching thing, okay, we have to understand that it is doing the right thing, okay? We need more brave leaders in this young generation. I want to see the young ones, and not even just the young ones, but anybody. This is an all call to everybody to stand at the front of the line with your hand held high, saying, this is the exact way to go. Who's coming with me? And maybe there is only going to be you right away or you and one other person. But as you continue to go forward and as you continue to build that up, there will be more that will come. Okay? Where's my brave leaders that are willing to stand up for what is right? Okay? Freedom without responsibility is chaos. You're not going to let a 10-year-old take a car and start driving it. That is going to be chaotic, right? We have to learn in this world today, everybody wants freedom, but they don't want the responsibility that comes with that freedom. They don't want what comes with it because they want to be able to pick it up and lay it down whenever they want to. And I'm here to tell you that's not going to be beneficial for you in the long run. It's teaching you false reality. That's not real life. Okay? I understand that this internet world has made it to where we don't have to be in it to operate in it. Does that make sense? But you still have to live real life. There's no way around that. So I want us to understand that today. I want us to understand that today, okay? The only way you can change a belief. So if you're sitting there, right, and the main part of being introspective, matter of fact, I just had a conversation with someone not long ago about this, about being introspective. It's you're so focused on yourself, you have to look outside of the situation, okay? But the only way you're gonna be able to change your beliefs is if you start healing from the things you've been through. Okay, I'm gonna use alcohol as an example. When I went to treatment, I didn't know sobriety was possible for me. I knew I could do it, but I had to put the steps in motion to do it. And then when I finally got there, then I started believing that there's something different that could have happened with that. It's the same thing with you guys. You have to start learning the beliefs that you have can only change if you heal from the things. Using examples, if you need to trust someone, right? If you have trust issues and you're like, oh, I can't trust anybody. Well, the only way you're going to have to start learning to trust again, but the only way you can do that is if you heal from the pain that that person or past people have put you through. But if you continue just to say, well, I can't trust anybody, that's the belief that you're going to have, and you're actually going to go at life alone. And we just aren't meant to go at life alone. But you're going to continue being cycle of relationships with people, and you're going to have a just damaged past and wreckage all over the place because you can't trust people. And even the people that are trustworthy, you'll find a way to show them that they aren't. I asked a question not long ago to a group of kids. I said, how many of you know your cycle? Whether it's your negative cycle, whatever type of cycle, when you're getting angry, when you're sad, and majority of those kids raise their hand because it's important for us to know our cycles. It's important for us to know, when do we get down? When do we get angry? At what point does that anger take us through a threshold, or even frustration take us through a threshold to anger, and we could have stopped it beforehand? Okay? Responsibility will only happen, okay, if you understand that it's okay to make mistakes. That's the only time responsibility will happen, is if you understand that it's only the mistakes that we make, okay, that can help us rebuild on that and build the thing that we want to in our lives, okay? We have to get this today. Life starts changing for you when you take responsibility. I got to a place years ago when I first came out of treatment the second time. I was like, I'm tired of blaming everybody. It's time for me to take responsibility. And it got to a point where I started taking responsibility for everything. It would have been so to the point that if someone would have came up to me, I believe I've said this on here before, if someone would have came up to me for no reason and punched me in the face, I would have said, nope, it's my fault. Because I was tired of blaming. And when you continue to blame, that only leads you to the end of yourself with no real friends and nothing to show that you've been able to build anything but destroying your life. I got to get real today. We got to understand that there's consequences for the choices we're making. I'm not even talking the blatant choices that you're making when you like do something you shouldn't be doing. I'm talking about the choices in every part of our life. Making the choice not to heal from things. Making the choice to continue to build a foundation upon lies. Okay? Making a choice to continue to not change anything about you, but having everybody want to adjust to you. Okay? It's not reality. It's just not reality. Okay? We have to take responsibility for our lives. Okay? We have to take responsibility for our lives. A lot of people ask me all the time, Bobby, how did you get to this place? It was years and years of work inside. It didn't just happen overnight. It never does. I didn't just wake up one day and say, I'm going to start speaking. Even how well I speak and my message and what comes out, guys, that took a while. It takes time. It takes time to build your arsenal up. It takes time. It doesn't just happen. We live in a world that is selling you that things can come overnight, and it's just not true. We aren't wired that way. It takes years and years and years of focus. I don't know if I've mentioned this on here before, but I'll say it again. It's like that person that is a videographer and you ask them, or they're a graphic designer, we can say that, and they've been doing it for 15, 20 years. Okay? And you go to them, hey, I need a logo. And they charge you $20,000, let's just say. Okay? And they charge you $20,000 and you get to a place where you are sitting there and it takes them 30 minutes to get it done. And you're like, I don't understand why this costs so much. It took you 30 minutes. And they look at you and they say, you're not paying for the 30 minutes that it took me to do this. You're paying for the 15 years that got me to the 30 minutes. Nothing happens overnight. It's all built up. The same thing was with your emotional intelligence, your emotional health. You continue to build it up. Taking responsibility, that becomes an art. Not everyone can do that. Having emotional maturity, that is an art. It takes time to continue to build that resilience up in that area. It takes time to stockpile your reserve in that area. But enough consistency in actually, what do I need to do today to take responsibility for myself? And start with the little things, and it eventually turns into big things. Okay? We have to stop believing this lie that it's all about us. That, oh, if I do something, I'm not responsible. No, you are. You are responsible. And I want you to become a powerful person, because powerful people take responsibility for the things that they say and do, even if it's a mistake. I'm calling all my young ones and even adults to become powerful people. A powerful person can approach a situation and not let it completely derail them if it doesn't go the way that they want it to go. Okay? Matter of fact, we have to learn, first and foremost, to start believing the right things and not creating scenarios in our head that end up making it worse for us or other people. Matter of fact, there's a story I have with this. Not long ago, it's like a week or two ago, I had a kid in the school come up to me. They were sick the week before. They didn't know if they were ineligible or not. They had some missing assignments. And the first thing I asked them, because I wanted to alleviate their stress, I said, have you went and talked to the teachers? Well, I'm really scared to do that. I said, okay, we're going to do that. So I went with this person all over to the 3 different teachers, all over the building, to 3 different teachers. They asked the question, what do I need to do? I need to find out, 1, if I'm ineligible. 2, I know I'm missing assignments in your class. What do we do? And one by one, these teachers were willing to help this person and say, do this, this, and this, do this and this. And on top of that, the good news is they weren't even eligible that week. But had they not asked, they may have not done anything about it. That Friday, they would have been eligible for the next week, and they would have missed the big tournament that they had coming up. And so we have to understand that scenarios playing out in our head, we have to be able to know, is it true or is it not true? You can ruin a lot of things by not asking questions to gain understanding. Introspection will lead you to destruction in every single way. In every situation you encounter, in every job that you have, in every relationship in your life. Any successes or any goals that you want to go after, if you continue just to be all about you, you will only end up at the end of that with a pile of mess. Okay? But the good news is we can get out of it. We can start taking responsibility for ourselves. We can start asking questions to gain understanding, so we know the truth about a situation and not have our minds made up without knowing any type of thing behind that. Okay? We have to learn to get in that place with our life. Okay? You're going to be okay. Guys, the one thing we got to understand is this stuff is real. We cannot deny it. We have needs. We have things. Right? And so we have to get to a place where we understand that these have to be tended to. If we have them, we have to know that they're important. And if they're important, then we need to handle them with so much care. Okay? Let your feelings be an indicator, a warning sign on what needs to be adjusted in your life. Okay? It's not snitching, it's doing the right thing. And when we get to that place where we can navigate this and this becomes our lifestyle, watch your life around you change. Okay? I want us to understand this today. Also, we have to learn to take action. One of the last things I'll say is we have to learn to take action. When things get hard or we get stressed out, we have to move forward. Whether that's going to ask a question, whether that's doing something that we know we're behind in, we have to learn that freezing and sticking our head in the sand until that moment passes, it only prolongs the inevitable that nothing will be fixed in that situation. Okay, you're going to be okay. I'm with you. I'm walking with you. Choose to live whole and a full life. So much gold inside of you that's going to help you live the greatness outside of you. Keep climbing. You're almost there. And I'll see you next time.
Next time